Okay, let's imagine and I'm doing this totally arbitrarily, although it's as good a bet as any. Hillary is the Democratic nominee for president next year with a running mate that doesn't really have, say Evan Bayh's a running mate.
Okay.
I'll put money on that. And then let's say Romney manages to squeak into this thing and he's got a running mate, someone else who's not that important. Hillary versus Romney, is that a statement to Wall Street that there's a choice over what the tax rate's going to be?
Big. Can I just tell you something right now? I interviewed with Romney. He tried to hire me in 1984. Do you know, I didn't know. I mean, why do people now say, well, I don't want to have a Mormon as president? I mean, I never even thought of him as a Mormon. I thought he's like the best businessman in North America. And that's how you should think of him.
So if he gets to be president, his economic policy would be lower taxes, continued lower taxes, less spending, and Hillary's would be what in comparison to that?
I think that Hillary's would actually not. Look, Bill Clinton was pretty good on taxation, so I don't think hers would be that bad. It's just that Romney would be a guy who would say, our gross domestic product rate was less than 1% last quarter. That's outrageous. We're going to be a growth nation again. Whatever happened to something like that out of Washington? I don't hear anybody talking about growth. Romney is a guy who favors growth.
Would a Republican like Romney, a free trader, continue our relatively open policy towards China and the BRIC countries like all the big developing countries, Russia, China,
yes, because he knows that our domestic companies have no growth. This world is divided right now. Our country's divided between the companies that export, and they are all doing double-digit growth, and the companies that are solely based in America, and they are dying. They are dying. Romney will help those companies.
Well, let me ask you about, is anybody going to bring aid to those parts of the country that are dying? I mean, if you drive across America, and you probably occasionally go into a flyover country yourself on land.
Absolutely.
You don't just fly, and you look and you go to places like in Michigan, Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, you drive across the country, you come to one town after another, where all they have left is a Blockbuster and maybe a diner. Maybe a diner, maybe a Walmart.
Domino's. Could be Domino's.
Maybe a Domino's. How are we going to change that? Is that just where we're headed? Just those towns are going to just keep dying on the vine?
Look, I talked to Eliot Spitzer, the governor of New York. Remember, 2/3 of New York is like what you just described. And nobody seems to have a plan. I know that Governor Spitzer would like to have a plan. I don't hear any plans for the third of America that has just been left behind. I think it's only a third. Some would say it's a half. And I keep waiting, but at least Romney understands business. He understands taxes. He understands capital creation. He reminds me very much of what I thought Bob Rubin was like when Bob Rubin was Treasury Secretary.
Was he the best?
Oh, man, since Hamilton.